Good evening and welcome to the Aransas Pass ISD School Board of Trustees regular monthly meeting. Today is Monday, June 10th. The time now is 7 p.m. With a quorum of our trustees, I now call this meeting to order. We will begin our meeting with our pledges of allegiance. Mrs. Hill will lead us in that, and our invocation by Mr. Rector.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Let us pray. My Heavenly Father, we come thanking you this evening for your continued blessings upon us. Deuteronomy 31:6 tells us to be strong and of good courage, and fear not that God is with us as we go through these troubling times. We pray that you would let your love prevail throughout the world and help us get closer to you as we go through our daily lives. We come now asking your blessing upon us as we begin this meeting right now. And we ask these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. For his sake we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mrs. Hill. Thank you, Mr. Rector. We're now at the portion of our meeting where we will recognize public testimony. If we have anyone here for public testimony or comments before the school board. Just want to double check because we just had some folks walk in. No one here for public comments? Okay. Then it is, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir?
Yes, ma'am. We're from the CDGA, the Coastal Bend Guide Association. I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up.
Excuse me, sir. If you would like to make the public testimony, if you will, please come to the podium and state your name and address. And just to remind everyone, pursuant to Board Policy BED, the board will allow every person who wishes to address the board on agenda items to do so before the board's consideration of the item. The board shall not deliberate regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of this meeting. This is a time for the board to stop, look, and listen to the public in making comments. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. Thank you, sir. You may continue.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't know if this is the time for new business or not, so I couldn't hear exactly what you said. My name is David Lee. I live at 502 Pocket Farm Road. I'm up in the north end of the county. I'm part of Coastal Bend Guide Association, me and Corey Russell, and we're trying to put together a high school league fishing group for each school here, just like they do in north central Texas, Oklahoma. They do it in freshwater lakes. We have the biggest fishery down here, so we're looking to get with the schools and see if we can't develop some teams for the kids to come fishing. And we're looking at doing this in a tournament setting, obviously, and we're looking to do this for scholarships upon the championship. Each school can have as many teams as they want, teams of 2. In the boat, it can be a guided division, it can be an unguided division. We're going to set up all the rules once we see if the schools are okay with this. But we're wanting the kids to come to the Coastal Bend Guide Association, actually join up under our junior membership and see how we run our meetings also, and become a part of this big fishery down here. I met 2 or 3 of your teachers one day, and they asked me to come up today and speak with y'all. So if this is something that y'all are interested in, or we can bring up to the FFA director, 4-H director, or something like that, who we need to get with, we'd like to come up and talk to them also.
Well, thank you for your comments. We cannot elaborate on it since it's not an agenda item.
Yes, ma'am.
But certainly, Dr. Barnes is our superintendent, and he can connect you with the right persons in developing that locally or giving you feedback from the district.
That'll work. Thank you.
Any other persons wishing to make comments? If not, then we will move on. Our next item, it is our pleasure for district recognitions. We'll begin this evening by recognizing our state qualifying color guard students. Dr. Barnes.
Yes, thank you, Board. Mr. Roms is going to come up and make the announcement about the wonderful students we have at APHS and some of the accomplishments they made this.
Good evening, Mr. Roms.
Good evening, Board, Dr. Barnes. It's with great pleasure and honor that I address you tonight to introduce our state qualifying color guard team. So I'm going to ask that the sponsors come up. And so they're headed up by the VIARs. So VIARs, would y'all come on up here? Mr. and Mrs. Viar both work for the district and just are in so many different facets of our school community, and this is one of the facets that they take care of and have done an excellent job with. Julia Delmure, she is a co-sponsor and a parent and is a big-time volunteer for us at the high school. And then we have Karina Hadamio, which is, according to Ms. Viar, their spin specialist. And so we're really thankful for all of them. So I'm going to invite Ms. Viar to come up, and she's going to introduce each one of the color guard team members that are here today.
If you'd like, you can remove the microphone, and if you will, please, Mr. Roms, hand it to her so that everyone gets to hear the students' names.
We have our two captains. First, we have Alana Chadwick, also known as Texan. Zalel Ramos. And then I will go to our senior, Quincy Fink, who will be leaving us. Azumi Longoria. Alina Rankin. Layla Gonzalez. Kiara Gross. Serenity Adame. You have a boy. He's a senior and he's working, and that's Raul. Raul, also known as Jose Bernales.
Trustees, if you will, please come to stand behind them.
You just don't have to go together with them, right?
Let me get all this. Congratulations!
And so just a little bit about what they had to accomplish this year. So you have to go to a certain number of meets, color guard meets, and you have to qualify with a certain number of points, which they did and competed very, very well. We're very, very proud of them. And it's the first time ever that Aransas Pass High School has had a state qualifying color guard. So we're very proud of them.
Wow. Yes.
Seventh. Came out seventh in the state. So yeah, we're very proud.
Wow.
Congratulations on all of your hard work in representing Panther Nation. And we're sorry that we're going to lose the seniors, but for those of you underclassmen that will continue on, we wish you much continued success academically and on the course. So thank you so much.
The next recognition is a very special one to me. I don't know that I've ever been as proud of a kid as I am of this young lady. You all are going to know her. She's our salutatorian currently, but Jocelyn was selected for a very prestigious award, and she has been inducted into the Coastal Bend Sports Hall of Fame for girls basketball, and we're so very proud of her. So Jocelyn, would you come up?
Not only is this a special honor for Jocelyn Cole, it is for our district as well. And she's not just the first for Aransas Pass, but she's the inaugural. This is the inaugural Hall of Fame, so her name is the first one on the list. And so congratulations again for all of your academic success. We know you're going to continue to do great things, and we are so very proud of you. So thank you.
We'd like to also thank our parents too, because I raised up Randy, his brothers, so I know them very well. So we're very proud of you, Jocelyn.
Grab my glasses here. Our next item is a very special presentation. We have with us this evening members of the Chamber of Commerce. We have our Executive Director, Ms. Rosemary Vega, and Board Member Doris, Ms. Liz Doris. And so if you will, please come to the front.
Okay, you want to do this? Or you want me to do it? It doesn't matter. Okay, my name's Liz Doris. I'm Board of Directors on the Chamber of Commerce. This has been 8+ years that I've done the King and Queen, announcing who our new ones are for this next coming year. This is something that when they're nominated or when they get the position, they have a few responsibilities. That is going and participating in parades. Of course, our local Allen Samuels always provides the car, so that's a good thing. So you'll be next year in the Strippery or this year in the Strippery parade?
They'll be in this one, but I think that some of them already have vehicles. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And also, once you've completed all your obligations, and it's all written down, you will receive a $500 scholarship from the Chamber of Commerce. Okay, let's go ahead. The Queen is going to be Karina Quintanilla. Yay.
So we did talk about this at our board meeting, and we talked about doing it with the school district. We normally just kind of do it at the high school level. We wanted them to know how important this is and what an honor it is to be a king and queen for our festival, and do it in the format where the school board can also be a part of it for us and for her family. So she's also going to get a shirt and a 3-day wristband so that she can represent the festival, the Signature Series Festival of Aransas Pass at the events. She can take pictures and kind of hang out with some of the kids. And then she'll also be riding the float.
You're an ambassador.
Yes, yes.
Okay, our king is going to be Jacob Arzula.
Arzola.
You two, I'm not sure if y'all got together about the float that y'all ride together, but kind of your dad has kind of helped us take over y'all in the parade. So you might want to get together with him with your shirt. I'm going to put your crown on.
Okay.
Okay, congratulations.
Give me your shirt and take a picture.
Yeah, with
Y'all want to come center? That way Blaze can get into.
This is our first year doing it here at the board, and we're going to continue from this point forward to be presenting it every year here at the Board of Trustees.
More handsome group in my life.
Dad.
Congratulations, you two. Good luck.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you, Liz. And thank you to our two students for this additional honor and also responsibility and service to our community. And so we appreciate you. Even though you get a scholarship, we know that it is extra that you will be doing in serving, and we know that you also do other things for Panther Nation. So thanks to you both, and we wish you well in your term as Shrimpery King and Queen for 2024. Thanks again. Great representation. Our next item of business is our superintendent's report, and so we will now turn it over to Dr. Burns. Oh, certainly, yes, if anybody needs to step out, but you're welcome to stay, please, and Roland is trying to get a picture of everybody. Maybe I shouldn't have. You're welcome. You're welcome. Nice size group.
Everybody do sit in Mr. Rooms, he has to stay.
All right, I'd like to share our superintendent report, starting off with the enrollment report. We have the month of May to finish up our school year with our district total for attendance and our district total in enrollment. I want to acknowledge the campuses for the efforts they did at the end of the school year to really make that push to increase the attendance, and which allowed us to meet our district goal for the year at 93%. I like to average mine out is 92 points, I think it's 95 for the year. And the second part of the report is a year to date from August 14th to May 22nd. And then going into next year, this summer we'll work on setting goals for attendance and also for enrollment, because that's been an item of discussion for us throughout the school year. Next up, we have the construction update. As you guys came in this evening, you may have noticed there was a gentleman doing some painting, actually putting in the sealant over at AC Blunt. And so that's a part of the work that's going on. It's the sidewalk repair. It's all been being worked on at this time here at Charlie Marshall. The power washing of the buildings and the sealant in the joints has been worked on as well. As of last week, June the 5th, we were at 30% completion on those projects. We were anticipating a start today of the lights project at the stadium, but the contractor is waiting on the basis, if I'm right, Jason, to come in. The other equipment, as you'll see in the parking lot, the student parking is being moved in for that project. But even with the delay, we still should be on schedule to finish up before that field needs to be accessed by our students for the fall. And technology with our fiber update. All the lines have been buried at this time, and all we have now to do is to update the switches that go with the project. So that's really good too. So we ain't worried about weather and wind to take our lines down anymore. For the balanced scorecard update, we are at this time. Next month, our plan is to bring to the board the objectives in which we would like you guys to approve for us to move forward with. We have identified the leaders within the district to team leaders to take on each one of those items. And those team leaders are going to work on building out the leading and lagging indicators and also our annual goals for that project that we're working on. So once the board approves it in July, those objectives, then will be to move forward with the next phases of that project. But it's coming along really good as well. I've also shared with you the stakeholder surveys. What we have is we've taken the open-ended responses and tried to identify some what we call word density, which words are showing up the most, kind of give us some idea to summarize the lengthy section of those reports. So you have the student survey responses from the high school and the middle school, and then also the parent responses from the survey as well. And these are the open-ended responses at the end. I've already shared the graphing piece with you guys as well. And what we're going to do from here is take that information, again, as we look into our planning for next year at the campuses, what are some things that we can focus on to make a difference in what the kids are responding to us about, and also what their parents are responding to us about. And so those are the summarizations of those surveys. The parent survey and the community survey are still open. We'll probably leave those open for the month of June to try to get more responses throughout the summer, and then we'll try to close it the 1st of July so we can kind of do some of that work on the information that's being provided to us. And the next piece is the informational item. I will share with you the contract from our financial advisor services, Dusty Traylor. And speaking with him on last week, we hadn't had an updated contract. And so with him for the services they provide, he said it hasn't changed much from the previous contract that was shared with the board. But I told him I wanted to share it with you guys as an informational item, give you a month or so to look through it to see if there's any questions that arise from it. And then come into the July meeting, we can vote on approving to accept that contract with him.
Trustees, any questions? This is an item we haven't seen in a while, so. I do have one question in preparing for the July final document for consideration, is to know what are the changes from the old to the new, or if we can just have the old.
No changes, but we'll go and look for the old one.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was anything that that would be different in level of services or expectations, things of that nature.
Yes, ma'am. The next one is the first reading of the TASB policy updates. And we've shared that. It's a pretty lengthy document of the changes that came along with that. If the board has any questions or anything like that, I can follow up as well.
Trustees, any comments or questions on the TASB initiated policy update? There are 3 policies in particular: DNA, EIC, and FDA. Should there be any, please forward them to Dr. Barnes before the second reading, second and final reading in July, at our July regular meeting. All right, then, if there's nothing on those TASB updates for policies, then we'll move on to the next item, which are our financial reports as presented. These are informational reports in our packets. Ms. Chapa.
For the month of May, the accounts payable report, our total cash on hand is $4,895,000. Total spend for the month of May is $628,000. The next report, the budget status report. Total funding that has come in is $13,914,000. Total spend is $13,603,000. So there's a difference between the revenue and the expenditures of about $300,000. Next page, the food service budget. The amount of realized revenue is $1,180,000. Amount spent is $1,076,000. For the debt service, monies received is $1,679,000. Bonds paid is $768,000. The tax collection report did not come in on time, so I'll bring that to you at our next board meeting. The FEMA, we're still going back and forth on paperwork. It has not been denied yet. We're still trying to
work on the softball, baseball field, paperwork going back and forth. The ESSER, we did not have any drawdowns. And that's all I have for reports.
Trustees, any questions or comments regarding the financial reports as presented? If not, then we will move into our consent agenda, which consists of one item, the minutes from the Board of Trustees regular meeting of May 13th, 2024. Trustees, upon review of the minutes, if everyone's had an opportunity to review those, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting of May 13th, 2024?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Mullinex, second by Mr. Rector. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. The motion carries. Our next item is discussion of topics for future meetings and board updates. Are there any at this time, trustees?
I know that the preliminary results come out for the STAR exam. Sometime, I'm assuming that sometime we're going to get a briefing of what our game plan is, looking at some of those scores of, of where our problems are and what we're going to do before sometime this summer, so we can get an update on what we're going to start the school year like and what our plan of action is to correct some of those.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that will be a future topic presentation. Anything else?
There's one thing I've been thinking about, watching the news and all that stuff, is get an update on what APISD is going to do with Title IX, with the changes that have been proposed that will affect us this next school year, as opposed to what our state leaders are saying and how we feel. So I think it's something we need to discuss, and eventually we'll have to make a decision. If not, it may cost us some money. So
The federal money, yeah.
So we have briefing on strategies to address the STAR results, and then also updates on Title IX changes and what that means to our district. Anything further? Thank you. We'll now move into our action agenda. First item on the action agenda is consider the report of progress of the APISD Optional Flexible School Day Program and approve application to operate the Optional Flexible School Day Program for the upcoming 2024-2025 school year. Our presenter this evening is our Alternate Education Campus Coordinator, Mr. Brian O'Brien. Good evening.
Good evening to you all. Thank you for having me here. If you recall, the Optional Flexible School Day Program is a program that we use for dropout prevention, basically. And it's available to anyone who has dropped out of school or is at risk of dropping out of school and or losing credit due to attendance. Those are the three criteria we use. This year our program numbers are down over last year because we haven't had the need, which is a good thing, I suppose. This year we had 2 students go through the program, and we didn't actually have anyone start until the third marking period, which was around the beginning of November. And of those 2, both were seniors, and both of them graduated. So 100%, 100%, right? If we have one student, it's worth it if you ask me. The recommendation is, my recommendation to the superintendent and of course you, is to continue with the program and please approve the application. The application process, Ms. Miller and I go through, it's fairly lengthy, and every time we submit it, they want something changed. So we'll get that to the state, they'll send it back to us and we'll correct something, and they have always approved it. So do y'all have any questions about the program? Again, helping 2 students graduate is worth having it.
Trustees, any comments or questions regarding this program before we discuss the application? We have a summary report in our packets. And although we've had predominantly upperclassmen, it's really any grade?
It's technically open to any person in any grade level.
Okay.
We typically just reserve it for the upperclassmen who are at risk of not graduating. Yeah. And when I say we, it's not unilaterally me at all. It's a combination of the high school principal, the counselors, teacher input, things. If they're getting to a point where they're at risk of, getting into the second semester and they're not going to finish, then we do. And, they have different life experiences.
Right.
Pregnancy, children themselves, health issues, those types of things that aren't covered through other programs.
Okay. Well, if there's no further questions on the report, then we'll move into the application. That is also in our packets. Trustees, any questions on the application upon review? Okay.
Most of the stuff in the application is ensuring that we do our attendance accounting correctly with them, because it's by instructional minutes, as it all is, but in this one, it's actually seat time in the classroom for minutes per
Okay.
minute.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if there are no further comments from staff, no questions from trustees, do we have a motion? Upon discussion, do we have a motion to approve the application to operate the optional flexible school day program for the 2024-2025 school year?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Stansberry. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Molinax. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next action item for consideration is to consider and approve the ratification of the certification of provision of instructional materials survey for the 2024-2025 school year. Dr. Barnes.
Yes, this is a part of our requirements when purchasing new textbooks. As you know, we have a new science adoption this year and some other adoptions. And so the state requires us to get this approved by the school board before we can finalize those, the adoption process for those books. And my recommendation is to ask you guys to approve that certification so we can move forward with those purchases.
Upon your review, trustees, are there any questions or comments on this item?
Are these textbooks is what we're talking about?
Yes, sir, like with the new adoptions. The second one would be about the out-of-state text. Out-of-date text. These are new ones.
So basically, we're doing the incoming first,
Yes.
consideration on the incoming before we do the outgoing. Okay. Any other questions or clarifications?
Well, I like to look at them. No questions.
Okay. All right, then, if there are no further questions, do we have a motion to approve the ratification of the certification of provision of instructional materials survey for the 2024-2025 school year?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rector. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. The motion carries. In relation to this, the next action item is consider and approve the disposal of out-of-adoption textbooks. The board is required to determine how the district will dispose of discontinued printed instructional materials, electronic instructional materials, and technological equipment. Trustees, staff has provided us the list of the proposed out-of-adoption textbooks and materials. Are there any questions? Specifically, in this list basically, it is instructional materials. These are not other types of books like from the library. So these are outgoing or out of adoption, rather, textbooks and instructional materials. Specifically, how will these be disposed of?
How do we do?
Since we no longer have a need for them, or they're
Yes,
not-
good evening. We are looking at is the after-school program, the AP for Youth, if they are wanting any of them to add to their curriculum. Also for our ACE after-school program, if they're wanting to add any. And then we have summer school taking place this summer, so we will offer them as well. I know as a child, many kids like to take home books to play school or things like that. And then any that are left over after that, we'll dispose of. Just we will have to throw them away. So years ago, you could ship them to different places, but they don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what we were hoping, but yeah. The cost of
A
it.
list of books to be disposed of?
Yes, in our packets. The question was, is this the list?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am.
So, we're talking science, math, and
I'm just kind of curious. I see like 6 dictionaries on here. I mean, to me, a dictionary does not go out of date.
Well, but they do have new editions that we use now for
Well, yeah,
testing
they
and
got
things like
new
that.
Bad words in the new ones. I understand that. But still,
new words get added to the dictionary.
dictionaries would be good for 4th and 5th graders or 3rd and 2nd graders, whatever.
Sure.
I mean, why would we throw the dictionaries away?
So they're actually coming from our campus, and those particular dictionaries we've not used in 3 years because we do have newer. So that's why we were wondering if ACE or someone can use them. They've just sat in the book room.
Well, my point is, I guess, is instead of throwing them away, find somebody that can use them.
That's what we're
Definitely,
doing.
definitely.
So we have 3
There's
options for that.
Yeah, and like the non-textbooks that were our readers that we don't have to bring to y'all, we've already donated to ACE, and with their summer program, each kid is going to get like 5 books, depending on the amount of kids and the amount of books. So we always try to make sure we get them with, when Miss Brown's was open, I would reach out to them, I reach out to Head Start. So yes, we always make sure we try to get to someone who can use them before
I have no
disposal.
problem throwing away books that are no good. Or
No, no,
not
no.
useful. But some books are still useful even though they're old.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I hate to throw them.
But the dictionaries, I was informed I
Well,
had
I'll
to
still
bring
read
to
them a
y'all
hard book.
versus the readers, like the decodables. I can just reach out and try to start finding them new homes because we have new ones coming in. But on textbooks and dictionaries, teacher adoptions, we have to bring it to y'all first before we find them new homes.
I understand that.
Okay.
Thank you both. So, yes, even though it's disposal of, before they're literally recycled or gotten rid of, the process includes, as you put it, looking for a new home or repurposing them. So, for our audience and parents and guardians, we're not just throwing books out arbitrarily. Any other questions?
One question, and I apologize because it's out of order and it is not related to the disposal of books.
Okay.
On the new books, when do we expect for them to get here?
Okay, well, we have to first wait and get the thing just approved, the survey approved, so then we'll receive our IMA funds, and then we will put in our order for it. So I won't know until, because we can't order them until we have funds to order them.
Are we expecting them in a well enough time before the school year starts for
That
the
is the
teachers
goal.
to prepare with
So
them?
we have all books, so the only one we do not have currently would be the science. So everything else has arrived.
Okay.
So because I know we do have new reading and new math, and all of that has arrived. And then the secondary math is all electronic right now. And so we just received today permissions to start with that. And so the science is the only thing. And I've been in contact with the company just to let them know what we were waiting on. So they're aware that we're going to be ordering, and they're aware that everyone in the state of Texas. So, but I can't, make a promise yet until I have an actual order.
Okay. Are any of those textbooks being disposed of that we're currently using? Will they be disposed of before the new books arrive in case we have to start the year with them?
We do not have a lot of old science.
Of the old science
there's
textbooks?
very few. And
Okay.
so They will have plenty. There's plenty through Teak's Resource System, which is an online platform that we have.
Okay.
That we can use if worst case scenario, and there's online platforms that we can use. Worst case scenario, if we don't get the physical books in place.
Perfect. I was just inquiring because we have had
Yes, I've
a
heard.
scenario in the past, so I just wanted to make sure that we're not, letting old habits die hard.
Those particular books have already arrived.
And could you remind us the My View series? What are those for?
My View was part of the older reading before we
Okay.
went to Amplify. It's not a high quality instructional material.
Okay. All right, trustees, any other questions, comments? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So if there's nothing further, do we have a motion to approve disposal of out-of-adoption textbooks?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Mullinax. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Hill. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next on our action agenda is consider and approve the proposal for a master key system at AC Blunt Middle School as part of the Safety and Facilities Enhancement Grant. Dr. Barnes.
Yes, here where we're asking is to, so a part of our safety goal and the requirements from the state is to have a key system that allows like our first responders to come in, and that master key will unlock any door in the building. As you remember doing Uvalde, one of the holdups was nobody could find the key for the classroom. So part of the new safety requirements is that we have to have a system in place where that one key will unlock all the doors, and that is what this money from the safety grant will be paying for, to go to AC Blunt and make sure that we can have that system in place there, where there's one key for all the classrooms. Am I correct, Mr. Bennett? And Mr. Bennett's been leading that up. He's been working real diligent on it.
Thank you. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was saying thank you to Mr. Bennett. Sorry.
And so I just ask that you guys approve the motion for us to move forward with that master key proposal for AC Blunt Middle School.
Trustees, any questions?
Is that the only campus that we don't have all the master keys for? Is there a master key for Charlie Marshall and Falk?
Price tag was hefty with this one.
Yeah, this one's the more expensive one that we had to come to get board approval on. But the goal is to have all of the schools in the district eventually under one key. So as he gets the grant funding for it, and we were trying to get that done.
Each campus under one key, or each the
No.
whole for one key to go to any place on?
Most any one campus could possibly have would be two. Each campus is going to be set up so if you ever want to go to a grad master or one key opens up every door in the district, we can at a later date.
Yeah, so.
Thank you.
So trustees, the vendor is H&H Door. We do have the proposal before us in our board book. The grant that for this purchase is the Safety and Facilities Enhancement, or SAFE grant.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Rector to approve the proposal for a master key system at AC Blunt Middle School as part of the SAFE grant. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Stansberry. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. That concludes our action agenda. We will now convene an executive session as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001 concerning any and all purposes permitted by the act. Section 551.074 personnel, to include resignations, new hires information, staffing update. The time now is 7:44. Our open session is closed, and we will convene in closed session. The time now is 8:43 p.m. Our executive session is closed. We are now reconvening an open session to act on any items requiring action from the closed session. Our next item of business is consider and approve resignations. Do we have a motion to approve resignations as presented tonight?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Mullenix. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rector. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Just one informational item. We also had our calendar of events in our board packets. It's considerably smaller, but was there anything else you needed to add, Dr. Barnes? Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing further, Dr. Barnes, trustees, nothing further. The time now is 8:44 p.m. This regular meeting, we are now adjourned.